Hi, everyone. Okay, it looks like we're live. If you could let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay and if you can see me okay, I'd appreciate it so much. Welcome to the Baking Burnout live video. I'm going to quick check real fast and make sure that we are live. And then I'll be right. That looks like we've got one person joining us and two. Yay. Okay. So while I'm checking to make sure that we're live, y'all go ahead and let me know in the comments, are you feeling stressed out today? I want to know, is anything in your baking business causing you to feel a little bit of stress going on right now? That's what we're talking about today, is all about how to overcome that stress and that burnout feeling. Okay. All right. We are live and ready to go. And okay, looks like comments are coming through. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now. That way we can get right into it today. Share our little presentation. Here we go. So today, like I mentioned, we are talking about burnout when it comes to your baking career and your baking business. This is something that I have been hearing a lot about lately. A lot of people in groups that I'm in, and in our group even, have been talking about feeling just really stressed out, feeling like with the amount of orders they're getting, they just don't feel like it's worth it, or they just feel like there's like they're just missing something. And it can be really hard because I've been in that season of my business too. When I first got started, I was undercharging. Y'all know my story. I was undercharging really bad. And I took on a ton of orders. And I guess my philosophy was just, maybe if I figure out how to spend more time on my business, I'll grow. Maybe if I figure out how to earn more money in my business, I'll feel like I'm doing something, like it's, like it's a real business. And that didn't work. That didn't work at all. I just ended up losing a lot of sleep and making my family crazy, and just being really stressed out. And so today I'm sharing some of the ways that I overcame some of those mindsets and some of the things that you can do in your baking business as well to help you overcome this feeling of burnout, because it's not fun. And we went into our baking businesses because we wanted to have fun. We wanted to have businesses that would provide joy and an income from doing what we love rather than stress, because we can get stress at any old job in the world. So let's get into it. Here are some common signs and symptoms of burnout. I just pulled these straight from Google. I just Googled signs and symptoms of burnout. And some of them can be like a sense of failure and self-doubt, feeling helpless, defeated, detachment, loss of motivation, increasingly cynical, or decreased satisfaction and sense of accomplishment. So I experienced some of these. It would be like, well, I got a dozen done. Now I've only got 6 more to go. It would be that kind of where I used to say, oh, dozen cookies done, ready to go. There would be some decreased satisfaction in that job well done. I definitely had some loss of motivation because I got to where I didn't want to plan pre-sales anymore. I didn't want to plan to do income generating activities in my business because I knew the last time I did them, it became really stressful because I wasn't able to manage my calendar in a way that allowed me to fully enjoy those things. So let's move on to the next part about how you can overcome. This is supposed to have a different title. It's supposed to say overcoming burnout, but these are 14 tips on how to recover from burnout. Again, these are just pulled from Google, but it's talking about tracking your stress levels, identifying your stressors, journaling, help from coaches and therapists, exercises, speaking up for yourself. There are lots of different ways to overcome burnout, but doing any of these things is going to take some time. You're going to have to take some time out of your day to track your stress levels. You're going to have to take some time to get enough exercise or create a journaling habit. For me, this is my morning devotional. And I got to a point in my business where I was so busy with orders and just go, go, go all the time that I stopped making time for that morning devotional. And I really noticed a difference in just my emotional state and how I felt when I stopped making time for those devotionals, or I would just read a verse real quick on an app as I went to the kitchen to get started. And so any of these things that are going to help you feel better, that are going to help you move past that extreme level of stress that often makes us feel burned out, they're going to take a little bit of time. And you don't have time to do those things when you're overbooked. Like, I remember being at a point where I just had taken so many orders that I literally did not have a spare second. Like, any second that I was at home, even when I was supposed to be sleeping, I would be working on cookies. And that is not a healthy way to be, even though I know that this is how a lot of us start. We really want to move out of that as soon as possible so that we can have that sustainable business. So let's get into how we do that. And before we get started on this section, I want to share with you an opportunity that we have coming up. We're going to be doing a 4-week study called Cookie Hustler to Cookie CEO that is all about taking you from stressed out, feeling like you've got 20 new bosses, just trying to keep up all the time, to actually feeling like you are an organized operating officer in your business and having control of your schedule, time, and income, which is a huge night and day difference. So this is going to be a 4-week study. It's part of the Cookie Career Academy. I'll be sharing a little bit more about that at the end, but I just want you to know that these steps that I'm sharing about today are all kind of what we're going to go deeper into and what we're going to get together and work together to do in that 4-week study, Cookie Hustler to Cookie CEO. So first is decide how many orders you're going to take on, how many you're going to do, and when you're going to do them. You get to design your calendar as a business owner. That is one of the most empowering, most amazing things about owning your own business. Whether you're decorating sugar cookies or doing any other kind of business, you as the business owner do get to be in control of your calendar. And you get to set dates when you need to rest, when you will decide to do a big push to make that pre-sale happen. It's all up to your schedule. And that is a wonderful thing in a lot of ways, but it can be a lot of pressure too. It's kind of like, okay, how do I start with this blank calendar? You feel like you need to see what's in demand and see what's coming next in order to kind of know how to design your calendar. So we'll be doing a calendar design exercise in the 4-week experience, Cookie CEO. But the great thing about being your own boss is that you get to be intentional about where you spend your time. And I would like to encourage you to build in time for rest. Before you write anything on your calendar, before you announce any sales or initiatives in your business, before you accept any orders, pencil in some time, take your highlighter, take your sticky note. If you're a Google Calendar girl like me, block off that time on the calendar and say, I'm resting this weekend. I'm not going to have anywhere to go or anything to do on this Saturday from 8 to 12 or whatever time that needs to be for you. Block it off as rest time. And if you want to plan something fun to do with your family that day, do it. But make sure you're giving yourselves off days, because in any other role or job, you would have an off day, and you have to have an off day when you work for yourself too. You also need to be truthful with your customers about the time that you really have. I know it's so tempting sometimes when that person you love or that loyal customer messages you and you want so much to take on that order, even though you're already overbooked. But it's really something that helped me overcome the mindset of, I have to take this order, was thinking about being truthful and being honest with my customers and with myself, even about what I could realistically get done in a week. For me, with twin toddlers at home at the time, and sometimes getting that extra order done was not realistic, and it wouldn't have been honest of me to say that I could get that order done and do it to the standard that I wanted to do it. So being truthful about your time with your customers, It may not be exactly what you want at the time, but think back to those times when you've been overbooked and had a hard time fulfilling those orders. It seemed to me that every time I was overbooked, I always ended up having a set that just didn't go well at all. And I didn't feel like I was putting my best work forth. So that was something that really helped me. Also, reflect your product in your pricing. We talk about this a lot. I preach on this a lot, but you're not one of the big chain stores that charges a little or nothing for cookies. Your process is very different and your product is very different. So your pricing should reflect that your cookies are handmade. They're an artisan product and they're not something that you can just go anywhere and get. And when people are looking for that type of service or product, they're expecting that they're going to have to pay a little bit of a premium for that. So when you make a handmade one-of-a-kind baked good, charge like you're making a handmade one-of-a-kind baked good. And I have a video about pricing on YouTube. If you want my thoughts on pricing, I do a flat pricing model with 3 designs. And there's a freebie that you can download. Hi, Megan. And you can kind of get my pricing guide there. If you'd like it, you can just message me or put a comment below and I'll send you the link. But you're not trying to compete with the Walmarts of the world because they're open 24 hours a day. You are not. There is only so much time you have. And also, you want to honor the commitment that you've made to your customers by effectively pricing your cookies so that when you say, yeah, I'm going to be working on your order this week, you are financially sustained enough, you are taken care of enough by the cost of those cookies and goods and time that you can actually focus on it and you feel good about taking time to focus on that order. So honor their commitment to you and your commitment to them through your pricing. Next is scaling with less stress. When we talk about scaling our businesses, we're talking about growth. We're talking about increasing the number of people you can serve or increasing the income you can earn from your business. And you cannot scale and grow a business when the growth depends on more and more of your time and energy. You're going to run out of hours in a day. So this is why I recommend always incrementally increasing your prices as your demand for your services, your skills, and all those good things increase. I mean, every business needs to raise their prices every year, but for a cookie decorator especially, I would almost even recommend a small price increase even quarterly. Just evaluate where you're at and how many orders you're currently getting and consider raising those prices incrementally because it really does make a difference in the ability of income, the amount of income you have the ability to earn. You have to get strategic and creative about your main income generating activities. So when I say an income generating activity, that can be custom orders, that can be a pre-sale, that can be hosting classes. I have videos about all those things if you're interested in learning more about those. But figuring out which of those things gives you the most return, whether that return is income, fulfillment, customers that you get to serve, whatever that return is for you, then you've got to find the one that gives you the most return for the least amount of investment or time, energy, money invested into it. So if you're spending 15 hours preparing for a cookie decorating class, then you should see a pretty good return of profit on that class. And likewise, anytime you're spending a lot of time, money, energy preparing something, getting that ready for the end customer experience, you should see a pretty good return on that and kind of picking and choosing what you focus on in your business, what you fill your calendar with, depending on what gives you the most return is my kind of idea of what scaling means in a cookie business. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about today is recognizing that you are your business's most valuable asset. My dear friend, Miss Cassidy Deer, is a women's coach as she calls herself a discipline coach. And I love that because you do really have to have discipline to view yourself as an asset. Think about all the time and probably money and energy that you have poured into building these skills for yourself. I know you've binged my YouTube channel and watched all those videos about getting that icing consistency just right. And that takes a lot of time. So just as somebody would spend time, energy, and money building a stock portfolio or making payments to buy a property that we would consider an asset in their business, you have built your time, your skills, your creativity, your knowledge of cookie decorating in this art form in a way that has created an asset out of you. So you have to view yourself as a resource, and your energy and your time are not renewable resources. We all only get 24 hours in the day. We get to start the clock again tomorrow, Lord willing, when the creek don't rise, but you only get those 24 hours in a day, and you only have so many hours in a week that you can work. So consider that when you are thinking of how you want to prioritize your time and energy, because sometimes you just need some rest. So if you want to get a little bit more tactical about these things, if this is really speaking to you, if you want some help in designing your calendar, in overcoming that burnout, in just getting some help with creating a business that you can continue to run for years and years to come, we're going to be having this 4-week experience. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here so that I can talk to y'all face to face again. Here we go. Now then, we're going to be having a 4-week experience starting the first week of July, and we'll do a pre-recorded video. We'll do a live call, and I'm going to have tons of great resources for you. I'm going to teach you how to make your next 2K in your cookie business the easier way. We're going to go from cookie hustler to cookie CEO. You're going to start to feel like you're in control of your business instead of your business being in control of you. And that's kind of become a cliche now to say, take control of your business instead of letting your business control you. But like, really, it's such a powerful shift when you get to feel like you are the one calling the shots instead of vice versa. And it'll make all the difference when it comes to your creativity. I felt like I made some of the most beautiful works of cookie art when I was in a more relaxed state, when I was in a more in control state, and didn't feel like I was, what are those things? The hamster wheels, running on the hamster wheel, when I didn't feel like I was running on the hamster wheel. So we're going to talk about how to become the CEO of your cookie business. We're going to design your ideal calendar. We're going to create your plan for your next 2K. We're going to make templates and share calendars on social. We've got Canva templates, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, send me a message or make a comment below. Y'all know how to get in touch with me. You've got comments here, messages here. You can do it on my main profile or the Sarah Grace Cookie Co profile, either one, whatever's easiest for y'all. But thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you being here. And if there's anything I can help you with or any questions you have for me, don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to let me know. I love hearing from y'all. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.